Um, Many of my clients come to me with the heartbreaking story of feeling left out and losing touch with their partners. And I thought I'd share with you a story of one client that I helped understand why she kept having these wonderful moments with her boyfriend. They were ecstatic, everything was just perfect, and then she'd find herself waking up with him the next morning and wanting to find all the reasons why she should be wary of him, end the relationship, look for ways in which she might get rejected. What were his motives? Was she being used? She would try to destroy the relationship. And it was really, really hard for her to understand why she kept wanting to do that, despite having everything she wanted in this partner. So here's a way in which you too can understand when I tell you the story of what happens when you have this wonderful, perfect, ecstatic moments that suddenly turn into scary, monstrous things that you have to fight and defend against. So let's talk about the moment when you're together, you're holding hands, you're looking into each other's eyes, you're enjoying the comfort of being together, you feel intimate, you can talk about anything, you can share anything, doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter if your breath smells, nothing matters because you're in perfect harmony, you get each other, you accept each other, you make allowances for it. It's almost as if you kind of melt into one, and there's nothing quite like it because it's the most comforting and pleasurable experience anyone can ever have. And then all of a sudden, your partner wants to go and sit on another chair, or call somebody, or go out for a walk, or go to work, or maybe do something without you. And that's when the fear starts setting in. That mesh that you were in, that perfect cocoon, starts to unravel, and you kind of feel lost in that space. There's a big space between you now, whereas before you were together and enmeshed, and moving together and thinking together and feeling together. And now all of a sudden, when your partner does something without you, then you begin to realize, hey, there's a big hole in front of me. You kind of get destabilized and your world begins to feel very scary. It's very threatening to you because all of a sudden the rug's been pulled out from under you and you don't know where you're going to land. So in that very scary place, in that very threatening place, you begin to put up defenses and walls and barriers. And the way in which you might do it is to go to your tried and trusted past experience and say all the bad things about your partner that you can think of. You're being used, it's not real, it's a fluke, they've got nothing else to do, they're going to do something bad to you in the future. They don't really mean what they're saying. They're just doing it for the fun of it. This is all a dream. It's not real. It's going to end tomorrow. All those horrible, horrible scenarios that terrify you, but at the same time make you angry and fuel you to put your walls up and defend yourself and get your weapons ready and start looking vigilantly around you to make sure that you're not going to be off guard when that person can slip in and seduce you and take advantage of you and throw you away. That's when you start wielding the axe of destruction against the relationship. And here's how I helped my client understand what was going on inside her so that she wouldn't keep putting her relationship at risk. I helped her understand that in that moment when her partner did something without her, she felt so lost and unsure of herself and so threatened that she was defending against something that hadn't happened, but that may have happened in the past. And she didn't want it to happen again. So technically she got kind of put back in time. And instead of acting in the moment, saying, hey, we're two adults, we're still together, the threads are still there, we're still doing the same thing, we're still connected, it was as if every thread that they'd weaved together had been broken and snapped. And that was kind of how it felt to her growing up when her parents came and left and went away, and she never felt connected to them because they didn't keep in touch. They didn't tell her what was going on. They didn't want to know how she felt, and they didn't tell her how they felt. So she was completely at sea, and she had to defend herself by pretending that they were bad, that they were not needy of her, and that she certainly didn't need them. And the best thing she could do was to wrap herself up in thick metal armor so that they couldn't harm her again. And as soon as she realized that, she said, yes, I can see this is different. And I said, how about if you share with your partner that these are the memories you had? You have a memory of your mother leaving you in your room and going to talk to someone on the phone for hours in another room and forgetting all about you. You have a memory of your dad saying he was going to go out to the store and get something, and then he didn't come back for hours and days because he had some emergency, and you didn't know that, so it felt abandoning to you. If you share these memories with your partner, they will understand you, and they won't feel like you're wanting something from them that's impossible, or you're making demands, or, geez, I can't even go to the toilet without you getting upset and needing me around you. You won't have to feel clingy, you won't have to feel needy, you won't have to feel bad, and most of all, you won't have to destroy the relationship every time that little gap comes. You get to build the bridges so that the gap doesn't feel so huge and unmanageable, and as if it will never be bridged again. Sharing those memories helps you connect your past and your present so that you can stay in the present and use those memories to kind of recalibrate where you are and how old you are and who you're with, so that you can still have those connections going and not feel completely lost. And in that way, you strengthen the relationship, you make it more solid, you make it meaningful, you make it real. And you don't always have to be fused like this, because every time there's going to be a little break, whether you have to go away for a few minutes or days, or the other one has to go away for an hour or so, or a day or so, or whatever, or even if you go to another room, it doesn't mean that everything's going to end. And if you do it the way I just told you, share memories of your fearful times and your upsetting times, then you'll kind of understand each other and weave the threads that will keep that gap closed and not open so that you're lost again. So I hope this helps you. Please let me know what you think and what your experiences are. And let's continue our discussion about how to help you when you feel lost and abandoned in your relationship.